Welcome everyone, this is Virginia Parsons, your Hangout Mentor, and I'm thrilled to be here today at the Inspirational Business Women Show because we've got a wonderful show for you this week, especially I think so appropriate for the week of Thanksgiving. I want to start by giving my thanks to all of you for joining us because I know you're busy. I know that everyone's got so much on their plate. So I'm really honored that you're here and you're spending some of your time here with us today. So thank you for that. So what is the Inspirational Businesswoman Show all about? Well, it's my passion and my inspiration to provide you, the viewer, with a gold mine of entrepreneurial tips, strategies, and advice to grow your business, and to grow your business with advice from inspirational businesswomen who are in the know. So thank you so much for being here today. I'd love it if you would just type in the comment section where you're hanging out from. Another thing I'd love to have you share is a bit about your own passion. What is your business all about? Because I truly want to be able to provide a collaborative for entrepreneurial women where we can share, inspire, and uplift each other in our businesses, where we can collaborate. All of this is part of my vision and my passion for this show. So go ahead and feel free to share all that information in the comments section. We'll really appreciate it. Now today I have a wonderful guest, and she's going to join us. I also have a wonderful comment wrangler today I'm looking forward to introducing you to, who's going to help me out. Because you know what? In doing a show like this, there's a lot of things to juggle. So I'm just looking forward to all of that with you. Today's show, by the way, is sponsored by hangout-marketing.com, where you can receive a full analysis and assessment of your knowledge base in using Hangouts on Air to brand, market, and grow your business. Now, all you have to do to take advantage of that assessment is to text the word success, SUCCESS, to 307-269-2040. And when you text success to that number, you're going to have an opportunity to take that assessment. It'll only take a couple of minutes to do. And then you just might qualify for a free strategy session with me. I would love the opportunity to connect with you and just go over your business and how you might be able to use Hangouts on Air to brand and market your business. All right, well, let's get started with the show. So who do we have with us today? None other than Lynn Hawkins, who is the CEO of Skyhawk Enterprises. I'm thrilled to have her joining us today. She is just an amazing woman because she's really developed a whole business model around social entrepreneurship and how you can create success in your business using social entrepreneurship. She is the founder of the P3 Academy of Social Entrepreneurship, so I think she knows what she's talking about. She walks and lives what she preaches. You know, her background was 35 years in the commercial real estate and lending arena, and I think you'll find it interesting to see how all of that experience moved her toward social entrepreneurship in her business. She's also known as the Money Girl for developing business plans, helping people see how they can take their passion and monetize it and put it into a true business model. So I'm just thrilled to have her with us today. She is going to be touching on the social entrepreneurship quotient. What is that quotient? What is it all about, and how can we apply it to our business? She's also going to talk about the return on investment of being a social entrepreneur. And finally, all about how to build a legacy that positively impacts the world. So I'm thrilled to have Lynn with us. Lynn, come on and say hi to the audience.
Hi, Virginia. Thank you for having me today. I am so thrilled to be here and enjoy this time with you. I'm ready to play.
All right. And that's another thing to keep in mind is how playful can you let your business be? It's all about your attitude and your mindset, isn't it, Lynn?
It is. It truly is.
You know, I want to take just a moment to also welcome Robin Hollins to the show. She is here to help me wrangle all your comments in. So make sure that you do put plenty of comments in the comments section and questions for Lynn. And also know that we're going to be doing an after show. So if you want to come in and directly talk to Lynn, you're going to be able to do that after the broadcast. We'll give you the link at the end of the show. And please feel free to just come in, chat, say hi, or bring any questions you have to Lynn after the show. Now, if you have questions during the show, that's what Robin's going to be doing for us, is collecting those comments and questions, and we'll be sharing them that way as well. Robin, would you like to say hi to our audience?
Yeah, hi everybody. It's good to have everyone here. I see we have people here from Miami Beach, Doug Baumwall, and we have Karen Beechin from somewhere in California that's sunny, sunnier than where I am in Santa Cruz. And Rain Dowell is hanging out from Alberta, Canada. And I think we have some other folks here. Well, we have, is it Saba Thakuri from Dearborn, Michigan? And Ron Harvey is North Carolina, I think, or South.
Well, I think at this point he could be in New Mexico. Hey, Ron.
Welcome, everybody.
Okay, Lynn, I really want to start with the beginning, but even though I know this is a limited time we have, we're going to do highlights, right?
Right.
And I'd really like to know a little bit about your background and how your background moved you into the whole concept of social entrepreneurship. So go ahead, take it away.
Well, thank you, Virginia. Thank you so much for, again, having me on the show and for helping me to bring this message about social entrepreneurship to the world, because that is truly what my heart speaks to. Now, for me, getting started and focused in the area of social entrepreneurship really started when I was a teenager. And I was helping my mom to write a grant for a program in our hometown that served the elderly. And so, you know, bringing that fast forward to now, there are parts of that program that are still going on then. What I did not realize was how much of that heart I brought with me into my 35-year career in commercial real estate, where I was doing team building and organizational development. And then I really got an opportunity in one point in my career to work with small business owners. And in that capacity, I saw some really interesting needs. Small business owners who were looking to lease space that I would ask, do you have a business plan? Where is this taking you? Are you growing? Are you just, you know, and all of those questions pouring out of me actually helped me to identify where my heart was. And it totally has been with the small business owner. And I remember talking to a friend of mine not too very long ago and explaining what my business mission and my goals were. And she responded, it's like, you know, I really like that social entrepreneurship type of mentality. Well, she had been working in the corporate environment for so many years and really got entrenched in the philanthropic area in her corporate job. And she said, well, what you're doing to help small business owners as a business mentor and a coach, you know, maybe there's a way for you to really bring it together and bring your heart of social entrepreneurship into it. And it was kind of like that day I looked in the mirror and I saw myself and what I was doing at that point, what I was building in my own programs and my own platforms, and what I was helping others to see. It was missing one thing, and that was the explanation and understanding that that really was building an element of social entrepreneurship into our businesses. Now, I have to tell you, I had to go back to the beginning, and I thought about, you know, when we think about, and this is, again, the perfect time for us to be looking at this, because right now we're in the throes of the Thanksgiving season. And it took me back to the original colonization and how they celebrated bringing cultures together, right? It was sit down at a meal and have the conversation, and then what could happen from that point forward. It was truly the alignment of what someone else needed that someone else had, and the reciprocation. And then we saw small businesses growing in communities around the nation. And who were the real beginning social entrepreneurs? When something happened in the community and someone needed to be called on in order to contribute, they would go to the local small business. And so social entrepreneurship really started as a grassroots philosophy that grew because of what the corporate environment could add to it. And as small business owners, as entrepreneurs, is, I think, redefining and reviving the original concept of social entrepreneurship, where it started and what we can do. And what we've got now is so much more of an opportunity because we work in such a global environment. Many of us as entrepreneurs are virtual. We have virtual teams. We do business in countries around the world that we actually have an opportunity to impact from a social standpoint. And so I say social standpoint, and I'm talking social entrepreneurship, and then there's social media. How do they, what are the similarities? What are the differences? Can one platform be used to help another? And all of that is interesting conversation as well. And that's where I get into the social entrepreneurship quotient.
Oh, please. First of all, I think it's a great term, the social entrepreneurship quotient, and how it applies, as you said, to small businesses, because obviously it's already been happening in large businesses for many, many a year, large corporations. But how do we move this into applying to all of our sister and brother entrepreneurs who are watching today?
Well, there are a number of ways that can happen. So let me give you a couple of examples. Have you ever been to a vendor fair where all of the vendors were entrepreneurs, and the vendor who was actually the lead vendor, the one who was actually putting on the event, whether it was holistic in origin or very business related, when they bring into the mix that there is some charity or some organization that could benefit from either contributions of dollars or contributions of, maybe this group gets to participate at a very large reduced price or no price at all because they're part of this organization, they get to participate by helping. That is an aspect of social entrepreneurship. When you look at your individual, so that's a group opportunity, okay? Mm-hmm. And when you look at your business, a single, whole, small business, and you want to say, now, how can I do this? My business is something that's a little more independent, or maybe I can participate in a group effort. But if I want to think specifically about my business, well, where the quotient comes in is in the fact that there are so many needs, and I equate needs as being something that is more a cause. What are the causes that are out there? Well, there's the cause of eradicating poverty. There's the cause of eradicating homelessness, of building in the realm of making technology available to underserved communities, or skills, or information. And I say information, and that goes for things such as virtual travel. There are people who, how can I make a business out of travel? But they don't even know what some of the most beautiful places in the world look like. How can you travel somewhere and you haven't even got a clue what's there? Well, with where we are now in the world in our virtual environment, there's an opportunity for us to address these causes that are called social causes in so many ways. And I want to tell you a story about partners that went into business, and they decided they wanted to start a nonprofit to put shoes on the feet of people in countries where they actually had no resources to put shoes on their feet. And these were people that walked miles just to fill up a water bottle or, get food. And they ended up doing this nonprofit organization and found it so very difficult to raise the kind of funds that they needed in order to serve their population's needs. So they did a reverse strategy and said, how can we make a for-profit business that can fuel our nonprofit so that we can really do the things that our hearts have been called to do? The name of this organization is Tom's Shoes. They started their nonprofit business first, and they grew it to a point where they needed more money to serve the people who were their constituents, their people, to put shoes on their feet. And they reversed the strategy to build their nonprofit even further by doing something that was basically a history maker. They took that for-profit business and they sold shoes, and they said, for every pair of shoes you buy, we will put a pair of shoes on an underserved person's feet. And if you buy 2, we'll put 4. And they grew their business. Now they're doing the same thing with eyeglasses, and they're doing the same thing with accessories. And that's just one of the models that has grown out of social entrepreneurship. There's another one, Nike. Nike has had the whoosh, play hard, work hard, play hard was their motto initially, right? And then they had the opportunity to look a little beyond the bottom line to say, what else can we do? And they identified a group of athletes, girls, who were being actually teased about being athletes. And how many girls do you and I know that actually came up wanting to be true athletes, being teased so badly that they just said, forget it? Well, Nike now is one of the biggest backers of a nonprofit organization called Girls for Change, that they actually encourage, they bring people to forums to encourage these girls to be more. They've actually partnered with other companies in order to produce commercial type material so that they can get these videos out to girls that actually promote girls being girls and being excellent athletes. And there's so many like that that I can talk about. Starbucks. Starbucks started addressing the social issue of youth and youth development, and now they have gone full force into identifying elderly. And now they've opened up into the veterans market to serve a cause. Now, they're the bigger small businesses. What about those of us like you and me? What can we do? Well,
that was my next question. How do we bring it down for the smaller entrepreneur, and what we can do, and how it relates to return on investment without it being a huge expenditure for the company who's just trying to get themselves up and running?
What a perfect question to ask, and a perfect segue into that thinking, because it's amazing the opportunities that you and I have as solo entrepreneurs, as serial entrepreneurs, as social entrepreneurs, because we can do some of the same things that the bigger companies have shown us how they're doing it. We can align with these organizations that have more of the manpower to actually address these causes, and we can show support. And our support does not necessarily have to be in dollars and cents, although that's a great way to lend support. Suppose you are doing something on your show and you are saying that this show is dedicated to whatever this cause is that you individually align with, that you want people to know that you totally support. This show is dedicated to I've lived in Silicon Valley for 10 years, and the shelter for battered women there, and an organization called Shelter Networks I did a lot of work with, and mainly supporting. and supporting in the way of getting the word out that this organization was not only there, it was making massive impact in the world. And I wanted people to know that I was associated with them. Well, do you know how that impacted my bottom line? I had women who were asking me, you work with them, can you work with me as I'm starting my new business? You support them, I see that you recognize them, that you're promoting them, that you're helping them to get their name out, and I'm looking for this type of a business to work with. Can I work with you? That opens so many doors. Right now, my focus is going towards women veterans starting new businesses. And how can women veterans, typically women veterans are looking at the bigger than themselves type of missions in their own businesses. And I'm looking at identifying myself now with specifically Marines, women Marines who are coming out of the service, who are looking at 10 years ago when I entered the Marine Corps, and I'm coming out now, life looks so much different than it did then. And I want to start a new business. I want to do something that's going to help other veterans. What can I do? How can I do this idea that I have for myself? My aligning with veterans to identify that I am a resource for them actually has others out in the world seeing that and saying, I like that. I want to support her in what she's doing, working with them. What do you think that happens? That gets me introduced in other venues that I may not have been able to reach into. That gets me exposure into other venues that I may not have been able to be exposed to. And what happens when your exposure level goes up? Your potential for bringing in new business goes up. Your ROI goes up. The investment that I made to say that I've aligned with this organization to address this social cause, and I actually make that known out in the world, is actually returning to me much more than I could have ever thought to give. But then that does allow me to take it to the next level. How can I give more? Well, then as my revenue increases, my ability to give more into those areas, and you know, you don't even have to take it out of your revenue, so to speak. Why not gift a place at the table of one of your workshops, one of your seminars, one of your conferences to one of these women in this organization that you're supporting to eradicate this cause, or at least address a cause? That is your opportunity. That is you being a social entrepreneur. That is also you beginning the opportunity for you to have a legacy. And I am one that totally promotes living legacy. If you can't see your legacy now while you are here on this earth, why not start now? So that you can, because then when you're gone, and we're all going to go at some point, your legacy will speak for itself. But while you're here, how about doing some of that speaking for yourself now and allow the ROI that you get from aligning in this space to help you to pay the cost of writing your book? Do you know how many books go unwritten every year? Do you know how many people say as they've reached a pinnacle in their life, I should have written a book. I wish I could have. I'm so fearful of, you know, there's so many ways to get beyond that. And always, what I have learned in my time on this earth is when you have others in mind, when you think about how you can help others, you get what you need, you get what you desire, and you know, you ultimately are able to see your own dreams come true.
Well, that was a cornucopia full of valuable information. And I just have to pause and take a deep breath and think about, okay, so now what does this mean in terms of strategies and steps that we entrepreneurs could take? And here's what I got from it. First of all, assessing the needs that are out there and looking at it from the standpoint of what are your passions already? What is it that you really would like to make a difference in, and how does it relate to the needs that are out there? And I think that the shoe example, what's that called, Tom's shoes,
Yes.
What a wonderful example of starting with a for-profit business, but as a result of that, bringing in all this nonprofit aspect of it to support the needs of people in their area, and which in this case they found were shoes. So that's one of the strategies I picked up from it, is start to take a look even in your own community. I know in my community the food bank is a really powerful avenue to contribute to in so many different ways. So then you go on to the other part of it, which is how do you support causes? So causes don't necessarily mean that you have to be giving money, although most causes need money. That, I think, bottom line is very true. But obviously with something like the food bank that we have here in Northern Nevada, just helping collect food, putting distribution areas out in your own community or the places where you may be doing a workshop. So if I'm doing a local workshop, I could have a collection place right there, and I could mention the need for food. So are these some of the strategies you're getting at that we all can do naturally without it costing us, costing us our own profits in our business?
And now that we are actually getting into the holiday season, there are things that I'm sure that, as I mentioned, people will say, oh, okay, Toys for Tots. You go to a business networking group meeting, and the networking group, if it doesn't already have something set up to have people to come and donate a toy or something of that nature, help them. Make that suggestion. Do it yourself. You can even do that in your own business, and you can even get it out. You're a solopreneur. You're working from home. But how about if you said on December 18th, between the hours of 3 and 5, I'm going to be at the Starbucks at such and such a place, and I'll be collecting toys, unwrapped toys for Toys for Tots, as part of my contribution to this holiday season. And just start spreading the word about that. How many people do you think would go out of their way to bring a toy, to just drop it off right there? And if you worked it out with that Starbucks location and have, Toys for Tots the Marines will deliver a barrel, and have that Starbucks say, yeah, I'll support you in that. And not only is it there at that store location for the entire day, all of their customers will see it and want to donate something, especially if there's a toy store next door. Hint, hint. There's so many opportunities like that. And that's one that I've helped someone to do that was extremely more successful than we could have thought. We did a basket brigade. Tony Robbins has his organization that every year at Thanksgiving they do the basket brigade in various locations across the country, actually across the country. And it's a team effort. But you get to state what your business is, what you do, who you are as you're participating. And I have built some of the best business relationships out of participating in things like that. If they don't have a basket brigade in your area, start one.
Are there any resources that you can think of that would be really geared toward this type of social entrepreneurship, that where people could just to get more ideas? What else might be needed out there? Any suggestions?
That is such a great question, because in my work and in my searching, I've not found one. So I've been able to be blessed with being that kind of resource. And one of the things that I do is actually, as my newsletter comes out, there are going to be pieces of it that actually address that in particular.
Okay, great. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Hey, Robin, you have any comments or questions for us from the audience? And while Robin's bringing those up, I would really love to have you type in ideas and resources that you can think of that would be good causes for people. So,
yes,
go ahead, Robin.
Yeah, people are really inspired by the Tom's idea, and I have it up on the comment tracker that start something that matters is pretty much capturing this, whether it's a short-term thing for the holidays or something longer term like what Tom's has done. I think we've gotten some really good ideas about ways we can do things small or large.
Yes, so glad. And that's really the message, because whether you participate with an organization that is doing something that you can tap into, either by providing dollars or your time or just the ability to help spread the word about the work that they're doing, that's just one way that you can participate and actually be in the space of social entrepreneurship. And again, what that does for you is so much bigger than we think about for ourselves, because having that exposure, having someone just go by your website and see that this is what it is that you're doing and who it is that you're aligned with could very well get you a customer, a group of customers, and there's any number of things. I want to tell you about one other project that I'm working on that is totally a social entrepreneurial endeavor, and that is a co-authored book project. And this book project is something that, we all talk about. Virginia, just give yourself permission to be the best at what it is that you're doing, and you are the best hangout marketer around. And, just give yourself permission to take care of you. Or somebody has said, give yourself permission to really speak your truth. Well, this is what we're calling the permission movement. And we're actually standing on a platform to say that as we learn more about giving ourselves permission to be, do, and have what it is that we would love in our lives, thinking about others is part of the equation. And this project, this book project, has actually been the impetus for a literacy project that's a little bigger. The book is going to be made into a study guide and a leader guide, and small groups of girls and women will be provided with these books, these study guides, and this leader guide to learn the stories that are being told in this book, and those stories of entrepreneurship, of the journey. And we've if you haven't heard about the hero's journey, I'm going to throw this out to you now. I'm coining the term the shero's journey, because it is truly the story of these co-authors and their journey to standing in the power that we want to claim for ourselves. When we get to the point of knowing that we're here for a purpose and the purpose is bigger than us. And so at our website, you'll also see information about the permission movement and joining what will help us as women entrepreneurs to help these girls and women. And I'm talking about girls in juvenile detention who are being put back into society. They're of age and they're like, what do I do next? There are women who are coming out of the prison system after being there for 2 years or 10 years and trying to reintegrate into society. There are women who are single mothers who are thinking that, they've had enough of a rough life that they can't do better for themselves. These are women and girls who we know that these stories will help to fill their toolbox with more of the life tools that they will need as they journey their lives. And I think about it, I'm so inspired by this project, because had I had some of those tools when I was a young girl, there's no telling where I might be now. And I know that's the story for many women who've come through their journey and are doing what they know they've been purposed to do in life.
Well, I am so inspired by you, Lynn, and I really feel like the whole audience is inspired by your message, by your vision, and now the Shero's Journey Project. So I want you to make sure you keep us all posted on that. Let us know how it's going, and if there's anything that we can do as your sister and brother entrepreneurs to help support you in project. That's another example of social entrepreneurship. So I hate that our time's run by. It always happens, but I wanted you to just get the best of the best information to people today. How about letting people know how they can get in touch with you and learn more And Robin, again, after she's done with that, just any quick comments, or you can post her address for connecting with Lynn in the comment section as well. Go ahead, Lynn.
Well, you can find me at p3academy.com, and that is actually the academy that I founded, the Academy of Social Entrepreneurship. And if you sign up for our newsletter, you will get information about the Permission Movement Project, the Shero's Journey Project, about social entrepreneurship. You'll get the ideas that you can implement into your own business. And when you sign up for our newsletter, if you would like, you will be eligible for a 20-minute strategy session, so that I will actually talk with you to help you to figure out how you can align with what makes your heart sing and what adds to your purpose on this earth right now.
Wonderful. So make sure you make that connection, get Lynn's newsletter. Well, there's going to be so much more to learn, I'm sure, just from your newsletter alone, about how you can incorporate social entrepreneurship into your passion and journey. This has been very, very inspiring for me, Lynn. I'd love to have anyone who wants to join us in the after show to ask Lynn some personal questions, or also bring some feedback into what you liked most about this whole idea of social entrepreneurship. And we've got, let's see, what do you got there, Robin? One more we want to bring up?
Oh, just
there it is.
Shero's Journey Project.
That up.
Where to find her.
That's the link to sign up for her newsletter and be able to follow her Shero's Journey Project. I absolutely love this. Yeah. So I want to thank you, Lynn, so much for being with us today, and I want to thank Robin also for hanging out with us and helping and supporting this whole process. And so we're going to sign off for now, but please feel free to join us in the after show. We'd love to just say hi to you, if nothing else, but bring in your ideas and your questions as well, and how you might become a social entrepreneur. I want to wish you all a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend for those of you who are from the United States. For those of you who are not in the United States, I just want to say thank you for joining us today. We really value you for being here, and we value you and your contribution. Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you next Monday. Bye now.
Thanks.